the classic trap that people get into is that they'll be profitable for a bit and they'll have $1 million that they've made, and then they'll lose that within a week. Gone, all of it.
Super excited to be bringing you the final episode of Season 7, episode 140. Our next guest, from humble beginnings, has built a global empire in fintech space, taken over the crypto space, one of the best providers in Australia, built a company with a team of over 850, turning over close to $500 million. Cancer survivor, amazing father and philanthropist, and an avid cyclist. I'd like to welcome Tamas Szabo to the podcast.
Oh, well, thanks for having me on, first of all.
It's a pleasure. It's been an honor having you.
No, it's good. It's good to be here. So what started the business?
How you started in the journey? So, from starting in the commission flat from humble beginnings,
all the way
to
back
building
there.
A global empire. You can touch on it because obviously I want to ask you about scaling, recruiting, because that's very interesting.
I mean, you go right back to the beginning. My parents, my father was a refugee. My mother ultimately met my father in Belgium, and I suppose she was a refugee as well. And they started with nothing. And I was born in 1974 in Belgium. We moved to the UK when I was very, very young. I was 1 year old or whatever.
Hence the accent.
Yeah, hence the accent. But I consider myself an Aussie. I've been here since 2004 in Australia. So I'd say I'm probably more Australian than I am anything else. I'm a bit of a mongrel in terms of all the places that I've been. So we moved to the UK and we lived in commission housing for most of my childhood, to be totally honest. In fact, all my childhood. And I ended up going to university at the age of 18, and that's sort of when things changed, and I was no longer living in the. But there's nothing wrong with commission housing, but it's just, I suppose, the reason. I guess you asked me the question is because to come from that background to being, whatever, you can call successful lots of different things. It's different things for different people, but it was quite a journey, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, look, I'm referring to financial success, but I actually know you on a different level because you're a good friend of my partner, and I know you're a successful husband as well. You're a successful athlete. You're a philanthropist as well. So success is a number of things.
Yes.
So, and I know you tick all those boxes. So it's very, very good to see that. But when I read that it gave you a sort of hunger and a drive to get out of there, do you think that was a big reason why you built such a big business?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, I look back to say, how did I get here? Because, I look back to my school friends and my people at uni, and they've all been very, various degrees of success. And I think, well, how did I get to where I've got to? They've got to certain places, and I've got to where I've got to now. And it's, I think it boils down to what I call a fire in the belly, where you want to do better than other people, because that's ultimately how you succeed. You've got to, it's a bit of a competition. You've got to do better than someone else, and that can be in athletes. It can be in any career, and it doesn't necessarily mean wealth. It doesn't mean a whole lot. It just means being very successful at what you do. And that requires a drive. And I think that drive, I got that drive from, having the hunger to succeed from a background where I think it was probably tougher than it may have been for some other people.
And you mentioned as well, I see certainty is a luxury. You say that comment. What does that mean?
Certainty is a luxury. When you're running a business like mine, you don't know, you can come up with a plan, but that plan can change. You can pivot. And there's no certainty in business. I think if there's certainty in business, then good luck, because that's very rare to have something that's certain. You have different probabilities of things happening, but a lot of the time I find ourselves at Pepperstone coming up with a plan, great plan. We spend a lot of time on a plan. We start executing the plan, and then something changes, and then the entire plan pivots to something completely different. And a lot of people can't handle that environment because it requires constant change, constant pivoting, and it's difficult.
But when you're dealing like Pepperstone, you're CEO of Pepperstone, if you were to explain to us in a concise manner for our listeners to understand, what exactly do you do at Pepperstone? Now I know you're trading and stuff, and give me a breakdown.
Sure. So
I know you've got 800,000 clients for people listening. You got offices around the world. One in Limassol, which I grew up in Cyprus. So that's incredible. It's an incredible story. But what exactly would you say you do at Pepperstone?
Yeah, sure. So I've been in this industry that I'm in my whole working career. So I started a company called IG Markets, IG Group, IG, back in 1996. And essentially it's leveraged speculative trading on financial markets. That's essentially what it is. We also offer crypto, but I've previous at IG we also offered share trading, but the main product is leverage trading. So you can take a view on pretty much anything that moves in financial markets. It can be oil, it can be gold, it can be the Nasdaq index, the ASX index, it could be BHP, anything, and you take a view on that market, and it's leveraged. So what means is that your gains are leveraged. The flip side, obviously, if you lose, your losses are magnified. Works both ways. But what you can do is you can, and when I say leverage, so what happens is you put an amount of money in your account, and when you open a position, the position can be multiples of the amount of money you've got in the account. So it can be, 100 times what you put on the account is the sort of exposures you can take to certain markets. And the way we manage that risk is if the market goes against you and you lose the money that you've got on your account, we'll be asking you to put more money on to maintain your position. If you don't put more money on, or if you close it out, then the position gets liquidated, we call it, and then either the money's wiped out or you've got some of that money left. But so it's just your deposit that's at risk, not the full.
Of course, because you can put stops as well.
You can put stop losses, you can put limit orders, you can things called trailing stop losses. So it's trailing stop loss, which is used quite a lot, is you have a position on a market or whatever, and as the market moves, that stop loss moves with you. So you'll be a point in time when you're in profit. You'll be a point in time where you've already doubled the money you have in your account, and your stop loss will be sort of covering that. So you're sort of locked in the, you've locked in that profit, and you can just keep going. You can make some good money, but it goes both ways. I don't ever want to get it across to anybody that there's such a thing as a get rich quick scheme. They don't exist, and I get very frustrated when people get involved in our products and try and claim that you can get rich quick. You can't. It's not easy.
It's so nice hearing that, because I'm in real estate. I have been for 21 years, 26 years, but the company for 21. And I always say to them, these are great returns. Everyone loves property.
Yeah.
It's the most reliable asset class, but this is not a get rich quick scheme. This is planning better for tomorrow to build your wealth.
Yeah.
Brick by brick or in time. Now, I really love people saying that, because trading, people think I can jump in the market and maybe make a ton of money.
Yeah.
But it goes both ways as well. And it goes like that in crypto and everything.
It goes like everything. You just I'm not trying to warn people against trading, because I think it's a fantastic thing to do. But, if you have no experience and no understanding, be very, very cautious. If you have lots of experience and lots of understanding, still be very cautious. Because it's
going to professionals that have been doing this for many years.
Yeah.
That trade so much.
Yeah.
They understand volatility of the market a lot better than an average person like myself would.
Yeah. I mean, the classic trap that people get into is that they'll be profitable for a bit, and they'll feel that they have some amazing skill, and they'll just get, like, I don't know, they'll make a whole lot of decisions that are not
above their pay grade,
and they'll lose it all very quickly. I see it all the time with people with, they've put a, I don't know, 10 grand on the account, and I'm not joking, they'll have $1 million that they've made, and then they'll lose that within a week, gone, all of it.
And then they're going to top up to try to get that million, and go down.
And then they go, yeah. So it's just sometimes frustrating to watch. I mean, we don't provide our clients advice, so we don't tell them what to do. It's all self-directed. So, and that's how it has to be, I believe, because it's difficult to advise people in derivatives trading, because it's very hands-on, very, very, you need a lot of focus to do this. You either give someone else your money to trade in derivatives. It's difficult to provide advice on the products.
Now, I read as well on one of the books that you liked and learned, like Jim Collins' Good to Great, which I think is amazing.
It's one of my favorite books. Yeah.
I love that book.
Yeah.
Good to Great and Built to Last. He's written a lot of great books.
Yeah.
With a long-term view on companies, which I think is incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, and you mentioned, for the people interested in scaling, hiring staff, why that's so important.
Yeah.
Now, you said you never particularly hired bad people, but you haven't spent that time because and I've done that many times as well, and nowhere near the business size of yours, where I'm trying to fill a hole, so I quickly hire someone, And then I reflect back and say, would I have hired him if I wasn't needed right now? And when the answer is no, it always bites me in the ass.
Yeah. It's one of those things that hindsight's always very helpful, but when you need to fill a role, and you have to do it quite quickly, you have a bunch of people that you're interviewing, and I don't want to mean about anyone that I've employed, because I've employed lots and lots of amazing people, but sometimes the quality of the people that you're employing might not be at the right level, and you'll still pick one of them because you have to fill a role, and that's the mistake. If you don't find the right person for the role, don't hire any of them. Keep looking.
You said be patient.
And that's the mistake that I've made time and time again, is that I need to fill a role. I've got 5 people that have gone around to, first interview stage, and second round you've got, and they're just not of the right caliber. And you end up picking one because you're filling a role. It sort of makes sense, but it's actually the wrong thing to do.
It's funny. It's ironic. I don't know what it is, but I think everyone does it. And we know that, I know this is going to bite me, and you do it.
Yeah. But the bit that I guess that has given me comfort with that, because it's easy for me to say, because someone will say, well, that's fine, but I need someone to do the role.
I'm in trouble, I need help.
I need it done. We haven't got, I don't know, a head of sales, right? I can't run this business without a head of sales. I need to hire someone. You'd be surprised how long you can run a business without that position in place.
Why do you think that is, can I ask?
It's really bizarre. Like, we currently don't have some senior roles in the business. We haven't had that for quite some time. Because I've been looking for the right person, and we've been looking for a very long time. We've managed to run the business very successfully without these key roles, because
Have you questioned getting them then?
No, I haven't questioned getting them, because we still need them. But what happens is that some very capable people, if you don't have any capable people, you can't do this. But if you've got very capable people, they're very, very good at doing lots of different things. And they chip in, I chip in, we all do it together.
So you carry the weight across the board.
If you've got a good team of people, you can do it. And it's quite amazing how, and we've managed to do some pretty amazing things without some key roles in the business, by that sort of, really good collaboration, but also just a skill. I mean, I'm sort of a mini CTO at the moment, right? It's not my role, it's not my background, but I'm learning about all this stuff. And it's becoming, you could question, we don't need that role in the business, but you absolutely do. But we've just taken a long time to hire it, and I think that's been the right decision.
Do you think there's benefits in that too, because you have a better understanding of the incumbent that's coming in to take that role on?
Totally. Like getting understanding of the discipline, and just re-understanding what the job's about, how it all works. It just makes the interview process of the CTO much more effective, because now I really get what that role's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I started in real estate, I was 19, I was obsessed in real estate, but I realized that finance was a very, very key, important component.
Yeah.
So I went for 11 months and got my full finance license so I can understand that process out in front of clients. So when I built a finance arm, which was 13 years ago, I wanted to know that process was such a key, intricate part of I never wanted to be a broker.
Yeah.
Too much paperwork.
Yeah.
Wasn't as hands-on with clients.
Yeah.
But I saw that point as so important. So I learned every part of the sequence.
Yeah.
I did a 6-month or 12-month hiatus in each of them.
Yeah.
So I can become better at selling real estate.
Yeah. That's a real discipline. A lot of people don't have the patience to do that. So yeah. It's a great investment in your education, just, doing the role and understanding it, rather than, you can't learn to ski from a book. You got to try it. There's certain things you can't get out of a book.
Well, I'll take your word from that, because I've never tried. I used to skateboard, which I loved. Now, speaking, I understand that you're actually, beside running businesses globally, I know you've got a wife and 2 kids as well, and you're also an avid cyclist.
Yeah, I am.
Yes, you cycle every day and on the weekends as well.
Yeah, almost every day.
It keeps you sharp in the mind.
It's without cycling, I think I'd struggle mentally, just with everything that I do, because running a global business and running all the things that I have in my life creates a level of stress, and it's an amazing way to clear the mind, because all I focus on is getting from A to B and enjoying the process of doing that. So it just simplifies the everything.
And you still enjoy cycling?
I love it. Yeah, I absolutely love it. And and also the fitness that it gives you, I think. I mean, health is so important. If you haven't got your health, you haven't got your business, right? So people talk about business, all these, your health is almost as important as understanding how to run a business, because if you're not healthy, you can't run a business. So it's important, and it gives you that as well. So it gives you a few things, I think.
I think ultra high net worth individuals like yourself, or people that are really dialed in now, you're seeing a much more prevalent focus on fitness. They're seeing it as such a key component to their business or to the longevity of it.
Yeah.
You're seeing it more in sports people going longer as well. You're seeing Federer playing so long. There was a friend of mine who's snooker plays 50. One of the greatest is 52, and they're going longer.
Yeah.
And people got snooker, but he runs every day, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Yeah.
My other friend who's number 3 in the world is a vegan. He's very focused on his health, and it's helping the longevity of his career.
People have figured it out, and I think the big change has been smartphones integrating with devices that monitor your body. That's been a massive change. I've got a Garmin watch. It tells me everything about my body all the time, and I look at it and I look at my stats, and I think a lot of people are doing that. That's been a major change from where so I think that's really woken people up to, and I'm not against drinking. I love drinking alcohol. I'm not against it at all, but I realize what it does to my body when I drink it. So I moderate it, and I wouldn't have probably understood that a few years ago, because I never realized. So you wake up in the morning, look at my sleep score, and it's not as strong as it was. That was the wine that I drank last night. So I don't avoid it. So, but I don't avoid it completely, because I actually do enjoy having a drink. But but I think that's what's been a huge change in society, is that whole understanding of your body and how important looking after it is, because you can actually see the effects of not looking after it.
I think it's very important, and I have a very similar philosophy. I don't judge or preach, but I think it's important to make conscious decisions. I like a drink every now and then as well. But if you understand what that's doing and you're consciously doing it, go for it.
Yeah.
But if you don't understand what you're doing to your body or your career or why it's impacting it, I think it's important to get that knowledge in that data set, so you make a better decision.
Yeah.
And I think that definitely helps.
Yeah.
Now, you've obviously had a lot of business setbacks. What were some of the main challenges or turning stones before launching Pepperstone? I know there was an acquisition as well.
In terms of, issues and problems,
so
generally.
Yeah. And what would you say some of the biggest learnings were throughout your career?
But I have been asked this question before, and I always struggle to come up with like big things that have a big learning experience. It's just, for me, it's just constant. Like the amount, like I screw things up all the time. I mess stuff up, and I in terms of my biggest screw ups, whatever. I'm sure I got plenty of them, but I don't sort of have a bank of them that I think about.
You don't dwell. You just move forward.
No, I just move on. I learn a lot from I try to learn a lot from some of the mistakes I make, but it's just a constant process. And it's a lot of talk about this, about learning from mistakes is really important. I don't want to sound like a broken record, as everyone says it. But at work at Pepperstone, there's different types of mistakes. Like if you try something and you've put some good thought into it and it hasn't worked, that's absolutely, it's needed. If you're if you're pushing yourself to the limit, like athletes and whatever else. I mean, look at the Grand Prix, a great example. Like how many Grand Prix cars right now are just not performing, whatever. The reason is because they're pushing it to the absolute limit. They could play it safe and just be in the middle of the field, but they're not doing that.
They're looking
because
for
they
those
want to
little
be the
marginal
very,
gains.
very best, and they're taking risks, and those risks are not paying off. Whereas some take risks and they pay off. It's the same in business. You gotta take risks for it to pay off. But it's a bit more nuanced sometimes in financial services, for example. We're regulated by 8 different regulators. We can't take certain risks because we can't just. And I've heard, launch stuff and fail quickly and blah. There's certain things we can't do like that. So we have to be quite careful.
Look, it's I laugh because of financial services. I'm in the financial, you're in fintech as well. Financial planning, all these things are so regulated.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually a good thing because it gives opportunity for people that want to do the right thing by their clients, by themselves and their business. But it does make it so hard. I can't imagine going into different countries and different continents. I mean, I'm just in Australia and I find it challenging throughout these things. When you're going into different countries, the regulation, well, different states, the regulation different when buying real estate. I can't imagine the complexity when going into different countries.
Yeah, I mean, just we've got a really good team of people that manage all that really effectively, and I'm heavily involved in understanding all the regulatory, risks and stuff. But regulation changes the whole time. The whole time, there's always new regulation coming in, so it's getting people to understand how that affects the business. It's not always totally clear, because it's again doing new things and learning new ways of doing things. Technology, changes the regulatory landscape, and the regulators, quite frankly, can't keep up. Like right, AI now, like all regulators globally are going, well, what on earth do we do with AI? Because in Australia, for example, and other jurisdictions, providing advice is a very high bar to providing advice to clients. Everyone's got to have the right training. You've got to, give clients all these risk warnings, and it's quite complicated. Right now, you can go on to AI and it can provide you with financial advice. And technically speaking, if that was done by a firm, they'd be breaching a whole lot of licensing restrictions, because you can't do that. Whereas it's just, and I don't know the answer, but the regulators are trying to understand all this.
But look, there's a lot of disclaimers that are coming out when ChatGPT does things in real estate, because this is chat, but people take it as gospel.
Yeah.
It's spat out of a computer from out, it's got to be right. But
Yeah.
no one's actually stress testing where that information's coming from. A lot of companies that, one specifically, I find very clever, they're coming up with proprietary software and they're putting all their reports into that. They're creating, I think, the bot, I don't know what it's called, and it draws information from there.
Yeah, so that's the lower risk, correct way to do it, where the AI is referencing a data set that you've curated really carefully. Like when we have chatbots at work where clients ask questions, that doesn't go to the internet to find the answer. It goes to a database that we've spent years building that is arguably correct. So, but if it went to the internet, it would come up with all sorts of stuff that might not be.
And at least you guys can vouch for the data that you've done and put it in this. So when I heard my friend started that, I go, that's a very clever concept.
Yeah.
Because you guys, all the real estate that you're looking at now, there's all these warnings on the bottom, but no one reads them because the ChatGPT said it's got to be correct.
Yeah.
Like, that's a very smart way to look at it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a different approach. Yeah.
So I know now that you mentioned to me off the podcast that you're looking at sponsorships and that to get your brand out there.
Yeah.
So I know that you sponsored AFL, Formula One with Aston Martin, which you're traveling, Aussie Millions, which I love poker.
Yeah,
so
that's on right now.
It's on now, is it? I know it used to be in Jan, but they brought it on now. It's the first one back in a few years.
Yeah, it's on as we speak. I was down there for the launch event. And they're getting record numbers. It's fantastic.
Oh, I've got to check it out.
Yeah.
So how does that all work, and how do you research where to invest the company's money?
Sure, it's a really good question. So, we try to get really close to our customers, as close as we can. I meet our customers on a regular basis, and it's just understanding what resonates with them. And there's a very high affinity with people who are very actively trading and poker, for example. So we felt that was a good association. Formula One, again, if you go to the Formula One, it's now actually very female-male balanced, but there's a sort of the type of person that likes Formula One. Okay, it's a very broad audience, but I think it has a high affinity with with traders again, or people who are really active with the financial markets. So that's how we've done. So we do our research. We ask our customers. We use external research. We use a whole lot of different data points to understand what to do.
So where they're hanging out, where your ideal clients are. And obviously, I know you the UFC is another thing that I love. So, which is it's an amazing sport. It's globally going bananas.
Yeah.
So, now another question, because I always think about this: how do you manage or measure the return on such an investment?
Yeah, it's difficult. It's very difficult. We track again a lot of data. So we track simple things like how many people visit our website. So we'll run an event, or we'll sponsor something, and we'll just see what has been the uptick on people literally just coming to the website. And then we look at how many people have started it
Converted,
because we could go and put our name out there on something that attracts all the wrong audience. They go to the website and go, oh, this is not for me, and they disappear. That's not an effective use of branding.
Interesting.
So we look at website visits, we look at conversions, and then we through mathematical modeling, you can usually associate
because of the
return on
timing
investment.
of the events as well.
Yeah, timing
So
of the events.
basically, if the Aussie Millions is on now, you see if there's a spike of people visiting your website, you see the conversion, you know, if 20 visit your website, one converts, and so on and so on.
And we also talk to
Wow.
our customers as well. You know, if we
Where
get,
did you hear from us and stuff?
where did you hear from us? But, you know, we particularly track our high value clients as well, because Pepperstone, I guess if you work out how we're different to everyone else in the market, I mean, we like to think that we offer the best service in the industry. We've got some of the highest net promoter scores in all the research that we do across all the competitors and external research. But also we like to think that we service high value customers better than anyone else. We have a team of people that service our high value customers, and we talk to them a lot. So if someone, you know, heard of us through Formula One, for example, we would know it, and we'd be able to know, you know, who that client was. And so, yeah, so we speak to our clients as well.
And obviously, it's interesting because always when we do marketing and we run marketing events, I always try to attribute how successful it is.
Yeah.
And that's a very good way to do it. And events are obviously always different times of the year. So they're always different. The Aussie Millions, then you got Monaco, got the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Is there one more successful than the other?
Yeah. Oh, look, it takes time. That's the problem. You can't just sort of run an event and how many people have visited at end of story.
Over 2-3 years?
It takes 2-3 years. The other bit that's really important, which I think a lot of people miss, and we missed this when we first started doing quite large sponsorships, is that you have to spend a lot of money on activation. You can't just, you know, sponsor an event and hope for the best. You actually have to activate it.
What does that mean?
Yeah, activation means you follow it up with, you know, maybe socials. You follow it up with out-of-home advertising. For example, during the Grand Prix, we had, obviously, we sponsored the Aston Martin team. We also had adverts on the Uber app. Every time you booked an Uber, we were there. We also had big billboards around the Grand Prix, and we had some out-of-home display, so, you know, billboards and stuff like that. And we also did socials. We sponsored one of the helmets as well, Lance Stroll's helmet. There was an article in the press about that. So all these things together drive that. And if you don't do that bit, you don't get it. It maximizes the investment more than the money you're spending on it. It's sort of multiplier effect.
But and of course, I think that's effective because it takes people 10, 12 times to notice something.
Yeah.
So when you're hitting them on every angle where they can see 1, 2, 3, they're starting to notice, and then they finally act. Used to be 3, 4 times people would notice a brand. Now it's 10 to 12 and increasing because our attention span's becoming.
Totally. It happens. The best analogy I'll give you is fast food. Like McDonald's do this amazingly well. You'll be driving somewhere and you'll see a McDonald's ad, you'll see a burger, and it will go, oh, yeah, I like that burger. And then you'll be sitting at home watching TV, wanting to get some food, and there'll be a McDonald's ad, and you'll go and you'll buy the McDonald's. That is exactly that happening. It's seeing it, sticking it in your brain, and then the action is when you're actually going to
plants that seed.
Boom. Why am I eating this burger? What am I doing?
I don't even know.
It's junk food. What am I doing? But yeah, it's just very clever. Yeah.
It is clever, yes.
Yeah.
So now, you know, you've had a little bit of a health scare when you're early 40s.
Yeah.
Where you diagnosed with early prostate cancer.
Yes.
Which you beat, which you're very grateful and happy about. And now you do a lot in that space to help people for awareness. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Sure. Yeah. So you're absolutely right. I had prostate cancer very early. I'm probably a real outlier in terms of the probability of someone at my age having it was very low. So it was just through a standard health check at work, just the blood test. It had it's called a PSA. I can't remember what it stands for, but it's a marker that indicates that your prostate's inflamed. It's not always done. Not always from prostate cancer. So I got tested. I got some tests done and whatever else, and they said, look, it's very unlikely to be that. But, you know, so I ended up getting a biopsy done, and it was confirmed that I had prostate cancer. And I obviously completely freaked out, thinking I'm going to die. I'm not going to see my kids grow up. And like it was the usual. I think the usual process someone would go through when they diagnose with cancer. It's really awful. And then as soon as you start calming down and learning about whatever's going on, the chances, particularly getting things early, are very, very good. And I was very lucky. I got it really early. I got treated really effectively, and fortunately, I managed to, you know, get through it all. But what I got out of that whole experience is I felt that, God, if I hadn't got that early, I wouldn't be alive. And it was a really big deal for me, thinking that little blood test and nothing. Like that saved my life. And I'm thinking everyone should be doing this because it's not that big a deal.
That's why you're raising awareness around it.
For me, it's about raising awareness. I also I donate personally to prostate cancer. I also run events. We've had a big event in Melbourne every year called the Biggest Blokes Lunch. We've now amalgamated that with the EJ Whitten, the grand final lunch. We had, I don't know how many people, 700, 600 people. Like, it's a big event. And, you know, we're hoping to have a bigger event this year. It's a great event. I mean, it's fantastic. It's not too serious. It's meant to be fun, you know, because you go to some charity events and you know, you actually do want to have a bit of fun at these things. It's not meant to be preaching and about everything. But for me, I've got a great opportunity for me to push awareness. So yeah, that's the reason why I wanted to get involved.
I'm looking forward to coming this year. I've run an event called Lead with Kindness, and it's about raising awareness for the homeless.
Yeah.
I'm doing my 9th Vinny CEO sleep out on the 18th of June this year.
Yeah.
And I wanted to run an event before the sleep out to raise awareness. And it was a very fun event. The last one was at the Melbourne Glass House. I think it was a total sellout. And all the events that we run are super fun. We have an auction.
Yeah.
People drink, people partying at the end of the day. So we had fun.
Yeah.
And we now know about this cause because I think it is a serious cause, but you've got to have a fun element to it.
Yeah.
There's got to be education around it, but it's got to be in a way that's memorable.
Yeah. And I think the fun element is important because then you get repeat business. You get the same people coming back every year. If you look at our event, it grows because people go.
They want to come back.
They bring their friends because it's fun.
It is memorable.
And it's not just, whatever. Don't want to have a go at boring events, but like, I think that fun element is what makes people, you know, and you can always say, oh, you know, I'm off to a charity event on a Friday and you don't come back to work. No one really cares because that's all good, you know? So it's a bit of an excuse.
I remember we were when people were auctioning off the items, we were writing their addresses down.
Yeah.
And the delivery guy was, I would actually personally deliver the people who bought the items with a thank you card.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
They'll see me next week and they go, Chris, we didn't expect you to be. I said, why not? If you came to my event and you were kind enough to donate money, I'm going to be here. And they always remembered that. So I've done that for the last few years. And I did my 5th and final Lead with Kindness. And the amount of people that came up said, Chris, surely it's not the last one. Come on. But I amped it up. So we're probably going to do a John Farnham and do a comeback tour.
Oh, fantastic.
So we'll do one more before my 10th years. But every year it was getting bigger. People were coming and we're trying to lift the bar in. After every event, we'd sit down with the team and I said, what do we do well?
Yeah.
What can we do better?
We do exactly the same.
And the last feedback was, we need to do a black tie event, sit-down event.
Right, okay.
So done. So what started as an event which had to turn virtual because of COVID.
Yeah.
We did it. The first one was a Muddy meal. Then we did 2 others. Then we did a black tie event for the 5th and final. But I want to come back. So I love going to other events because I always go, what are they doing really well here? I want to take an idea and I put it into my event.
Yeah, so I go to a few charity events and I always pick up things like, you know, because if you've done charity events, you do that naturally, going, right, that's done really well. That's done really well.
That's boring. That's not
boring.
Good.
We'll steal those bits. But yeah, I think a big part of it that you need to get right is the charity part. The auction part. So we did the auctions really well at Biggest Boats Nights. Like, they were fantastic.
Having a fun person auctioning off and having
really
the right
good
items.
auctioneer, really good items, and just make it easy because you have those, you know, the silent auction stuff, and sometimes they're just a pain in the ass, you know, or you get the timing wrong, whatever. It's boring, but yeah, you can get those things right, and you can make more money. Yeah,
I believe so too. And getting the right heads in the room is important. People that care about the cause.
Yeah.
So there's a good mixture. So obviously there's a funny story, like when you came to Australia because you met your wife Jo.
Yeah, sure.
And she asked you, tell me what you do.
Yeah.
So you said you thought it was easy to take her to the office and show you.
Oh, I did, because you know, it's quite difficult to explain what I do. I'm sure I explained it earlier, and I wouldn't put it past some people. The guys still don't understand it, which is perfectly normal. A lot of people don't. So the best way to understand it is actually just do it, right? So my whole analogy with skiing, like, you can't learn skiing in a book. You just got to do it. So I took my wife into the office and I said, like, open my Bloomberg screen, which is a financial thing, all the different markets moving around on the screen. And I said, well, these are all the different markets. Let's pick a market. So we picked, I actually don't know what it was. I think it might have been the US Dow Jones index or something. And I said, do you think it's going to go up or down? There was a chart. And I said, I think it's going to go up. And I said, okay, well, so I put a trade on, and we waited, maybe watched the market move and watched the P&L move, and then I closed it out within, I think, about 15 minutes, and we made just over $2,000, which is a lot. And then I said, that money's yours. You can do whatever you want with it. So she bought a little Louis Vuitton handbag, and that's her sort of, trading is good handbag that she walks around with.
It's probably the best way to describe it. But I think watching my friend, who's one of my close friends I grew up with, understanding your risk tolerance and how to be disciplined. He's one of the most disciplined people I know.
Yeah.
He does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I interviewed him in London, and was very, very proud to see kid come from humble beginnings, being super smart, has a massive house in Hadley where all the soccer players live, fourth biggest backyard.
Yeah.
And just such a disciplined, good human being.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed at his house. He wakes up, he's on the things. And I know that when, especially now when the markets are really crazy, when global things are going on, it creates great opportunity, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Volumes. So we were talking earlier about, we track when customers come to us when we're running sponsorships, right? The problem with that is that when the markets are moving around, we get huge interest. So sometimes it's very difficult to work out, was this sponsorship deal really successful, because it coincided with something happening in the world, and everything all spiked at once. So that's the challenge with that. But again, you can model that mathematically if you get it right. It's difficult. So, but yeah, there's if the financial markets are on the front page of papers, we're having a very, very busy time.
So what do you say to people that are looking at getting into the financial markets? What are some of the things they should be looking for?
Well, try and understand what you're investing in, number one. And sometimes it's not what you're investing in, it's what's affecting what you're investing in. Great example is oil. Not
so the environments.
What's pushing the price of oil around? You can do some research. Like, what is it? And then if you start understanding world events, that's the bit that you can maybe get a bit of a better understanding of. Like, what do I think Trump's going to do next? What do I think Iran's going to do next?
I don't even think Trump knows what he's going to do next.
Well, I don't think who knows what he thinks. And then if you think you've got some view of what's happening next, you can actually back your view in the financial markets, either through buying an index, or the other thing you can do with our product, which I didn't mention, is you can short. So shorting is very unique to our product. So if you think that something is too high, you can bet against it. Yep. You can benefit from it falling. So you can do that on any product.
Do you prefer one particular strategy, or it depends on
most people generally like going long, because psychologically people still struggle with going short on something.
Because it's dropping.
Yeah, people just don't think like that, But if you think something's overvalued, you can benefit from it
because
falling.
we're hardwired that way.
Yeah, and people criticize shorting, and people say it's a really bad thing. It's absolutely not a bad thing, because if you think about it, if something's too overvalued, what happens? It collapses. But if you've got the checks and balances in place, as it goes up, you can control that bubble, they call it, so it doesn't get too overvalued, because things that get too overvalued create absolute disasters. So it avoids that happening.
I look at every market, and I always think where there's chaos, there's opportunity.
That's a saying I use all the time.
You just need to have a level head, and you need to lead with data.
Yeah.
And if you can be level-headed, you're going to make great opportunities. And I say that even in real estate, when people are worried and people are flooding, that's when smart money's busy.
Oh, look,
that's when people are active.
I mean, that is absolutely how to make money in financial markets. It's the
same in real estate.
Yeah, it's basically, there's a herd mentality in human nature, and sometimes betting against that is very profitable. Where gold is a great example, although gold is also a very bad example, because gold has rallied more. It's unbelievable, the price of gold, what it's done, right? And there was a period of time where you had to jump onto that rally, and there's a point in time where you sort of would have benefited from it ending, and that's sort of about now. But it's that herd mentality where you see people queuing up on the street buying gold. It's probably when it's time to sell, right? Because it's getting to that hype phase. So that's when smart people get,
and I love it. And I say to people, when you're seeing certain suburbs and areas boom, you're too late.
Yeah.
You need the forward indicators to understand why they're going to move. Where's the infrastructure? When's it getting spent? When's Costco getting built? When's the schools, the shopping centers, the jobs being created? These indicators are going to show you when the property markets will move.
Yeah.
And if you're looking at a proven track record, I don't know about the share markets because I'm not in that game. But with real estate, it's like that. I imagine it would be the same.
I think it's exactly the same. I just think it wouldn't say it's necessarily slower. Maybe it is a bit slower, but you don't have the price of a building written on it every day in real time. That's the difference. It's very real. It's constantly moving, constantly changing. I mean, you have real estate indices that you can see where things are tracking. You get obviously reports on property prices and stuff, but you know, it would be equivalent of your house having a ticker on the front of it with its price moving in real time. I mean, that is financial markets. That's the difference. And if that was happening, people would behave differently because they'll be going, "Oh, this is worth a lot of money. I might sell it." But you know, they don't might not know exactly what it's worth because it requires a sale process, an auction, whatever. It's not the
It's a
same.
very good and an easy analogy to understand. But you understand how people will be freaking out. Imagine walking past your house, it's $1 million, and then the next day you walk past is 800.
Yeah.
Or subsequently, 1 million, it's 1.3. I'm out.
Or you look at your neighbour's house and it says 700,000. So oh, that's cheap. I'm going to buy it. You know,
But I love these things. And for me, I always loved trading. I've never got into it. And I said to my friend Andy, this is a game that I would love to get into and know in detail because being very left brain and analytical and being obsessed in numbers,
yeah.
it's something that I would love.
Yeah.
But I've been in real estate for so long, it's what I know. But I've always wanted to go in there. Now you're launching crypto now as well. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so we launched our new crypto exchange in February. We've been working on that for about 1.5 years now. And we built all our own technology. It's very
proprietary.
It's all proprietary. It's very good. We got some really smart people together to build it. We pulled some people out of existing offshore exchanges to build it. So we spent a lot of time hiring the best people. And I will go out as far as to say it is the best crypto offering in Australia in terms of particularly on pricing. It's very, very good. We track across all the other crypto providers, and we're just better than cheaper than everyone else. And the bit that I think people are missing, and this is critical, and I think again I'll use an analogy that I think everyone will really understand very easily, is that if you go and change foreign currency, if you're going abroad on holiday or whatever, back in the old days, you used to look at who's paying the lowest commission, right?
Yeah.
But then people got smart to the fact that that's not commission free. There's a trick here. And then you realize what they're doing is they're giving you the currency for a much higher price than the person next to them. So people then looked at how much currency they're getting for the dollar rather than the commission. So this is exactly what's happening in crypto. At the moment, there are people advertising low commission rates on crypto, but what they're doing is they're hiding all the commission, the markup in the price that they're paying. So there's no one price of crypto. Everyone offers a different. You can track it. They all offer different prices to crypto. So we offer the best price and the lowest commission combined. So if you work out how much crypto you're going to get for your dollar, not just what commission you're paying, but also what price you're paying, we're tracking everybody. Like we are constantly.
You're on top of it all.
We're on top of it all. We don't just say this. I mean, we track it to make sure that we are.
It's like you look at the banks you look at their rates. You got to look at the comparable rates when you add all their fees. It's always different.
Yeah, totally.
But it's the I don't want to call it clickbait, but it's what gets people attention from.
Yeah.
But when you analyze that figure, the from is an extra 40 grand for the side cost. It's an extra
Totally.
It's
all the hidden costs. Yeah.
And you analyze them both to give people the best product at the best price.
Correct. Yes.
That's fantastic.
And part of the reason why the edge, I guess, we've got is that we've got a very large derivatives business in crypto. So we're doing about $8 billion a month in crypto already. So we're using all that leverage that we've got in our business to be able to offer that product, the spot product, really cheap. Like we can do it. It's actually profitable for us to do it like that. Whereas if we look at a lot of the existing exchanges, they don't have a derivatives business, so they can't afford to offer it that cheap because they have to make all their money from that product.
So that's where scale and capital is effective.
Scale, capital, everything. That's where that we're leveraging all that scale and capital.
And the purchaser, the client, being the client and the customer, receives all that benefit of that knowledge, that data,
totally.
The best possible rates with the sharpest.
Yeah, we're passing it all on to the customer. Exactly.
Tamas, I've really enjoyed this episode, and I hope people have liked the season finale as much as me. As it's become a custom, I've got some quick fire questions for you. Ready?
I'm not very good at these. Go on.
No, these are.
I always had to think, but I'll try.
That will be easy for you, I promise. Now, I think I know some of them just from knowing you briefly. Early mornings or late nights?
I'd say early mornings.
A song that always lifts your mood?
A song that always lifts my mood. Okay, one of my favorite songs is She Sells Sanctuary by The Cult. It's an old song. Makes me feel really old, but I love that song.
One word that describes your approach in life and business?
take calculated risks.
In the short period I've known you, and they said you're laid back and I can actually see that in the 2-3 conversations that we had. Biggest edge in business strategy, people or execution?
Execution.
You can have the best people without a good plan, you're in trouble.
Everything. I know I talked a lot about people, but I say it all the time. Like, you can see it all around the world. I've got this great idea. I'm going to make a whole lot of money. If you can't execute it, you can't make any money.
People always back the person other than idea because they know that they're going to get it.
Yeah,
they're going to make it work.
You don't need to be the smartest person to be successful. You've got to just do it. I mean, there's so many examples. Like, Facebook's a brilliant example of this. I remember, if we go back, there was MySpace. There was the one where you found your friends at school, can't remember, School Finder, whatever. There's a whole load of them. Why did Facebook succeed? Because he executed, did it very well. So it's not about the idea, it's about execution, which people miss all the time.
He wasn't first to market, but he just
not at all.
delivered it.
No one, all the hugely successful companies, none of them are generally first to market. You don't even hear about the ones that were, because no one cares about them. So, if you look at Apple, I don't want to be mean about Apple, it's an amazing company. They pinched and borrowed everything from everyone else.
Mainly from Sony. His biggest Acuma reader was Steve Jobs' biggest inspiration. Even the little, what do they call the
iPod thing.
Sony Walkman.
Yeah.
iPod. So his biggest thing is Acuma reader.
Yeah.
One habit that keeps you performing at a high level.
Oh, cycling.
I was about to say, we know that one. If you weren't in finance, what would you be doing?
If I wasn't in finance, I would love to be in hospitality. I really enjoy hospitality.
Because you enjoy people so much?
I enjoy people. I think it's just, if you can create a really fun environment that people running, I would enjoy running it. I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't be good at it. I don't know. But it's something I love. I love going to a really nice restaurant, a really good pub. I'm part of a private members club. I love it. Like, just little things like that I enjoy. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned Good to Great is a great book that you've read. If there's one more book or piece of advice you can give our listeners, what would you say? Here, read this book, or here's a piece of advice that I live by. What would you say as a final send-off?
Oh, I think taking calculated risks is something that I think is really important. And I think sports people do that really well. And I can't think of a book, or I can't think of anything in particular to hit that one. But just take inspiration from successful people. And I think there's a lot of people out there you can take inspiration from. I
agree. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much have you enjoyed our podcast?
It's been awesome.
I've absolutely loved having you on the show. It's been a pleasure. Whenever you want to come back, thank you for closing off season 7. It's officially our 140th episode, filmed around the world, but definitely one of the most enjoyable. Thank you for being on.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Chris.